Think conflict means something's wrong with you? Think again. Conflict isn't failure, it's an invitation to grow. Today I'm sharing how God designed us to navigate tension with grace, not guilt. Let's start with something simple but powerful. Conflict is normal. We say that, but it's one of those things we don't always believe. Deep down, many of us still carry this idea that conflict means something is wrong with the relationship, or worse, with us. Like if we were just better communicators, more Christian, more Christ-like, more patient, more emotionally intelligent, then we live in this constant state of calm. But that's just not how life or love works. Conflict doesn't mean your relationship is doomed. It doesn't mean you failed. It means you're two people trying to navigate life, and sometimes your wants, needs, expectations, and wounds bump into each other. Think about Jesus and his disciples for a moment. They were people who literally walked with the Son of God. And guess what? They argued. Read your Bible. Read the Gospels. They argued. They misunderstood each other. James and John asked for special seats in heaven. Peter cut off a soldier's ear in the heat of the moment. And the disciples debated about who was the greatest. And Jesus didn't say, man, y'all are a mess. I'm done. He stayed, he taught, he corrected, and most of all, he loved. Conflict was a part of their story too. And sometimes conflict arises because we're not heard, or we feel disrespected, or maybe we're tired and something small becomes a bigger deal than it should be. Sometimes it's about past wounds resurfacing. Maybe a tone of voice that reminds you of how your dad used to speak to you when he was angry, or a sudden shutdown from your partner that triggers old abandonment fears. These moments don't just happen in toxic relationships. They happen in normal, healthy ones too. And when we label all conflict as quote unquote bad, we shut down the chance to learn from it, to lean in, to grow. Conflict can actually be a signal, not a disaster, but of opportunity, an invitation to explore something deeper, a place to practice love, truth, patience, and grace. Because let's be real, love isn't tested when everything is perfect. Love shows its strength when things get hard, when tempers flare, when misunderstandings happen, and we choose to stay, listen, and work through it. Now, this doesn't mean conflict should be chaotic or abusive. Healthy conflict still respects boundaries. It doesn't demean or dehumanize. But even when it gets messy, it can be redeemed. We serve a God who works all things, even hard conversations and awkward moments, for good. So if you've been taught that good Christians don't argue, or that conflict is a sign of failure, I just want to gently challenge that today, because avoiding conflict doesn't bring peace. It just buries the problem deeper, and buried things have a way of resurfacing in bigger, more painful ways later. Instead, let's aim for honest peace. The kind that says, hey, I'm upset right now, but I care enough about this relationship to talk through it. That's maturity. That's love. Sometimes we confuse peacekeeping with peacemaking. Peacekeeping avoids the problem to keep things calm. Peacemaking is brave. It's willing to face the mess with grace. It says, I love you enough to not pretend. I trust our connection enough to bring the real stuff to the table. And that's hard, right? because many of us didn't grow up with healthy models of how to navigate conflict. Maybe you came from a home where people exploded or shut down. Maybe conflict meant fear or rejection. So it makes sense that it still feels uncomfortable, even unsafe. But healing is possible, and it starts with understanding that conflict isn't an enemy, it's a messenger. It's letting you know, hey, there's something here that needs attention, something that matters. You don't have to love conflict to grow from it. You just have to be willing to face it with honesty and compassion. So the next time conflict shows up, instead of spiraling or shutting down, try this. Pause and say to yourself, this is normal. This doesn't mean I'm broken. This is part of being human, and I can navigate it. You're not alone in the tension. God is present even in the uncomfortable. He's not waiting on the other side of resolution. He's right there in the middle, whispering wisdom, grace, and truth into your heart.